Bye, baby. Bye. Celine. Bye. Mama Celine.
Port Harcourt. And I'm with love. So Tucci, tell us how is your food? Is it nice?
Yes, it's tasty. Thank you. Oh, thank
It's tasty.
tasty.
Okay.
Stop doing
And
that.
talk us through what have you got on your plate? What have you got?
Chicken
Yes.
and chips with mushroom sauce.
Okay.
Yeah, come join me.
That's it.
Now this is Andrew's house. This is the curtain. This is the Andrew's type of curtain. Are you seeing it? From the parlor. Yeah. From the parlor. Then we are going to the room now so that you see the type of curtain that he uses. So police are here from IROT office Abuja. They are doing because yesterday morning. Yesterday, sorry, we've been searching, and this morning we located something happened, from dead body. He used a curtain to wrap the dead body. So if you go to the house, the same curtain he used to wrap the dead body here is what you're going to find in the house. So from here now, we'll still go back to the house so that we can compare. You see that the curtain here and the one in the house are the same. So I'm here with FIB IROT, headed by DCP Sanusi Mohammed, and we came all the way from Abuja, and since last night we have been in Aba and over Celine and Afibah's case, and I can tell you, that a lot has been achieved. From this road, these places are, there's no houses. This place is just a bush, and he dumped them somewhere there in the there. And yes, so witnesses here said that this body has been here over 1 month plus, and there was no head, and some part of the body were removed. And the same curtain we found here is the same we found in his house, hanging in his house. You can see blood on it. So yeah. This is the same curtain again. Check our curtain again down. Maybe making videos. You think maybe it's an office outside,
Yes.
in the town, but this place is his house. So are you saying this is just one of the room, or one of the sitting room, visitors room upstairs that he converted to office? So that's if you watch out for that video, you see that there are computers here, computers on this table, and there are chairs. So it's like maybe you see maybe it's like this outside of his office, maybe one of the street. No, this office is located right inside his house, and this is a black sheep group. Alright? And his name on Instagram is Black Sheep too. That's what the name is.
You put hand.
They've served him quick notice.
All this book for me, abeg.
Number 48 Stallion Road, Obohi. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right.
Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. Now, the case of Abigail Afibah Tandoh and Celine Ndudim is now picking up a lot of momentum. If you are not familiar with the story, just go back to my playlist and you would see the first version of it when the news broke. These girls traveled from Dubai to Nigeria to attend the wedding and get some supplies for their business and have since been missing. And now there's a key suspect in the case, one Mr. Andrew Amaechi, and he is suspected to be responsible for these girls being missing. But I have a series of updates for you, and these are deep and dark because it looks like these girls are getting to the point where there is a possibility they may have been deceased, or they might still be alive, hopefully. But it's been a month now since they went missing. Now, today's updates are going to be quite a number of them, about 4 of them, premised on things that are out there which I've researched on. And the first one is having to do with the fact that as of today, the remains of a female have been found and retrieved near the house of Andrew Amaechi, who is the key suspect in this case. And it was found wrapped in curtains, same as what Mr. Amaechi has in his house. Now, this seemed very interesting when I saw it, but then there are angles to it. I'll come to it. The next update would also be on the fact that Mr. Amaechi himself is now reported to be deceased. Interesting. Africa for you. Is that true? We'll get into it. Now, the third one is also on the fact that there's a rumor out there now making the rounds that the key suspect, Andrew Amaechi, is cited as being a serial organ harvester. Is that also the case? And then the fourth one are key and damning issues that have come out of the interview granted by the brother of one of the missing ladies, Abigail Afibah Tandoh, to a YouTube channel called SVTV. And he touched on some key things bordering on the conduct of the Ghana High Commission in Nigeria towards them when they got to Nigeria to pursue the search for their missing loved one, and then also talked on the unprofessional conduct of some Nigerian police officers towards them, and also talked about the videos making rounds of his sister and other videos purporting to depict that his sister has passed on, and then gave his opinion about going to Nigeria and Nigeria as a country in itself for foreigners. And these things are making the case take a dark turn, where it looks like what we are hearing so far, or what we heard in the beginning, was just the tip of the iceberg of a possible problem that is bigger than what the solution is requiring, because it looks like there is a whole system of issues with very little against it to help find a solution. Now let's get into the updates one by one. So as it stands now, the remains of a female have been found and retrieved near the house of Andrew Amaechi, and these remains were found without the head and the hands. Now bear in mind, the reports are that the house that these remains were found by is the same house that Andrew Amaechi allegedly invited Celine Ndudim and Abigail Afibah Tandoh to. But it's just one remain that has been found, or one deceased that has been found. And per the assessment, it seems is the remains of a female. But without the head, it's difficult to confirm whether it's Abigail or it's Celine, or maybe somebody else who isn't even known yet to be missing. And the remains were found wrapped in a curtain, which is the same as the curtain that was found in the house of Andrew Amaechi when people went in there. Of course, Andrews wasn't there at the time, but then I believe that this is not something that indicates that Andrew Amaechi is responsible, and I would explain why. You know, despite Andrew Amaechi being a key suspect in this case, in the eyes of the law, he's actually innocent until proven guilty. And when it gets to court, evidence would have to be irrefutable, such that it is damning, strong, and it can convince the court to grant a conviction. But as it stands now, the remains were found near his house, not in his house, near his house. And they were wrapped in a curtain, which is the same as what he uses. And people are like, oh yeah, then he did it, and then he wrapped his curtains around it and then dumped it beside his house. That possibility is there. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm just saying that with some of these things, you would feel strongly in your emotions that, yeah, he's guilty, but you get very disappointed and hurt when it gets to court and he beats the case because the evidence is not overwhelming enough. Let me break it down further. Now, when it comes to, I don't know about the West and other places, but when it comes to Africa, certain things like curtains, it can be owned by several people. There's a strong possibility several people may own the same type of curtain. And these curtains are not customized. They are made as a production line. So the same type of curtain comes in bulk and people buy based on their preference. So there's a possibility that about 100 people may have that curtain in Nigeria or in that town. And what was used to wrap around the corpse could belong to any of them. Now, with that, how do you then determine that belonged to Andrew Amaechi? If it was that the curtains were produced with batch numbers for every single specific batch produced in that bulk, where we have batch number serialized, so and so and so, next one, so and so and so serialized, and is documented per the seal and purchase that on this said date, Andrew Amaechi bought this specific batch number, and that specific batch number is also traced to the piece of curtain that was used to wrap the corpse. Then you begin to have something more stronger, tying it to Andrew Amaechi that, yeah, you are the specific person who bought this specific batch number of curtain of this type. So it couldn't have come from anybody else but from you. And that begins to make a strong case. But as it stands now, internally, emotionally, we may believe or suspect strongly that this was him doing this. But if you can't prove it, then it becomes a weak case to stand on. Now, in the footages you saw from the beginning, you see that the police were there to retrieve the remains and they took them away. But I am thinking that even in the absence of that head, it is still very possible to confirm if it's Abigail Afibah Tandoh or Celine Ndudim, because Abigail Afibah Tandoh's family is actually currently in Nigeria. You could run a DNA and you would know if it's Abigail. And then Celine Ndudim's family are also in Nigeria. They are Nigerians and they are resident there. So you could also get that done and determine these things. I don't know if it's something they are pursuing to do, but I'm thinking that some of these things should be quickly done so that the family also have some confidence that their missing loved ones are also important to the state and their case is being pursued in the way and manner it should be. Now, the next update is on the fact that reports have come in that Andrew Amaechi has lost his life while trying to escape from the police. So, if you watch the first video I put out, you'll get to know that Andrew Amaechi was picked up by the police and it seemed he was not ready to talk. But then, now reports are coming that he has lost his life trying to escape police custody. For me, I'll think in two directions, because when it comes to crime, and especially when the suspect is wealthy here in Africa, the possibilities of some crazy outcomes coming out are endless, because some of the security officials in Africa are easily corruptible. Now, if you doubt what I'm saying, go to my playlist and search for the case on Thabo Bester. He faked his death in prison, and he did it in collaboration with some of the same security operatives who were supposed to make sure he stays in prison. So it's not far-fetched. Now, I am of the view that if Amaechi has passed on, then they should produce his remains and a DNA confirming it's him, and also an autopsy confirming the cause of death. I think this would bring finality to whether he is passed on or not, because in the absence of that, there's also the possibility he may have faked his death, possibly in collaboration with the same security operatives who are supposed to help bring him to justice, because it's also rumored that Amaechi, as wealthy as he is also very well connected and has friends in high places, including the Nigerian police force. This is the allegation out there, but it does not necessarily mean it's true and whether or not he has faked his death. But as it stands now, as at the time of putting this content out, I hadn't seen any official communication from any Nigerian institution confirming that indeed Amaechi had passed on. I haven't seen that. But I think that if that is the case, then they should bring transparency to the issue, get an autopsy out, cause of death, probably a DNA, independent body conducting that DNA and confirming that this is Amaechi. And then it makes more sense. So as it stands now, I don't believe he has passed. And I pray he hasn't passed, because if he has passed on, it may become relatively more difficult to find out what has happened to Abigail Afibah Tandoh and Celine Ndudim, because time is running out for these ladies. They've been missing for about a month now, and it's not looking good. Then the next update, as if it wasn't bad enough, started talking about the fact that Amaechi is allegedly into organ harvesting. Now, if you are watching this and you think that, no, we can't have this in Africa, please allow me to wake you up. Illegal organ harvesting is something that is going on. Some years past, you may have thought that this can only happen in some well-resourced Western countries where some individuals are able to have access to top-notch medical facilities to conduct some of these things. But I tell you, it is evident that it's going on here in Africa now. And they are amongst us. Nicely dressed, seemingly well-mannered, seemingly very polite, and they will allure you with gifts, money, befriend you, and you would feel like you found your blessing. You found the person that is just going to change your life, the man of your dreams. But what you wouldn't know is that you are being softened and groomed and battered up for the day of harvest. And this can go on for about 3, 4, 5 months. And one day you'd go on a trip and you may never come back. There are several stories out there. You may never come back. So don't think that you can just take certain people's good gestures as it is and just be strolling along and enjoying. You may be led to the slaughterhouse and you wouldn't even know it. Let's keep our common sense out there. Don't yield to the freebies. Work hard and earn your money. Don't reside in the thinking that, oh, he's good, he's nice, he's giving me gifts, and you don't know this person from anywhere, and this person is showering money on you. That is an investment into a potential organ harvesting. Because These things are expensive on the market. People can't even have access because of sometimes there is a tall queue. So if they can spend $3,000 or $30,000 on you to acquire an organ from you that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and save their life, that is a good return on investment for such a criminally minded person. Know your worth. It's not just about the money in your pocket, but it's also about your health. So don't let somebody exchange your health with some few dollars or naira or whatever currency and think that you are winning in that transaction. Know your worth. That is all that I'm going to say on this. And as far as Andrew's Amaechi being suspected to be an organ harvester is concerned, my research also didn't come up with anything out there that seems to suggest that he has either been convicted of such a crime before or even been arrested on such a suspicion before. So it remains a rumor. And until investigations are able to prove that, like I said, and the court also convicting him of same, like I said, he is innocent until proven guilty. I know some people who have strong sentiments about this may not be happy hearing me saying this, but that is the truth. That is the truth. Now, the fourth update is coming from Abigail Afibah Tandoh's brother. Now, he granted an interview to a YouTube channel called SVTV Africa, and he said some things which are very serious. The interview is in the Akan dialect. You can look it up on YouTube. Just type SVTV and you'll see it. But then it's in the Akan dialect. So in case you are not familiar with it, you may not understand what he's saying. But I'm here to give you the update on the things that he said in that interview. Now, the first thing that I'm highlighting from what he said, which I find very disheartening if it's true, is on the conduct of the Ghana High Commission in Nigeria. Now, according to Abigail Afibah Tandoh's brother, they were not happy with the conduct of the Ghana High Commission because the family had traveled from Ghana to Nigeria to pursue the case. And being foreigners in Nigeria, they were expecting that the Ghana High Commission would have aided them to effectively pursue the case. But it seemed like the commission wasn't doing that much. They weren't up and doing, to the point even where they were going to lodge was a problem, given that their loved one is actually a missing person in Nigeria and they could also be facing a security risk. But then the commission allegedly told them that they can't protect them, whatever. But I believe that if that is true, then the commission could have done better. Then he went on to also talk about the fact that the Nigerian police had some of their officers being very unprofessional towards them, to the point some of them were even asking them for money before they can proceed with certain aspects of the investigation. And this is what I find very disheartening in some jurisdictions in Africa. The police are there to protect and serve. You are on government payroll. A citizen in distress or any person in distress whom you have to render your policing service to doesn't need to pay you a dime for you to do your work. But sometimes here in Africa, that becomes a problem where some police officers feel entitled that you need to pay them before they grant you the service that they owe you as a citizen or as any person they are supposed to serve and protect. If you doubt this, go back to my playlist. There's a story on that where a foreign lady, was being extorted at the border in Nigeria by police officers. This is very unfortunate, especially when we are talking about the lives of two missing ladies. But that is what Abigail's brother is saying. There is no evidence from him to confirm if it's true or not. But That is his allegation. And if it's true, then that is very unfortunate. Now, he went on to also talk about the fact that he had seen certain videos making rounds on social media about his sister and Celine Ndudim, and the fact that what is being said about them or what is being inferred from these videos are not true, and that his sister hasn't passed. They don't believe his sister has passed on. They believe she's still alive, and the depictions that people are making that those cops are his sister is not true, because it doesn't match what they know her to be or to have had on. So these are interesting things that he's talking about, and I would advise we respect the families and loved ones of these two ladies when we are reporting on these things or when we are commenting on these things. For me, I know that there's a possibility this case could be several things as is being rumored out there. It could be some or all of some of the things being out there. But then, until the facts are established, we have to ensure that we communicate with decorum on this issue, because this is somebody's loved one. This is a relative to somebody, a human being for that matter. And in as much as we need to talk about the issue, we also need to respect them when we are talking about the issue, and even respect these ladies as well. Now, the last thing he touched on was the insecurity in Nigeria, especially for foreigners. And that is his opinion. He was talking about the fact that even when they got there and they were on their way in a vehicle, they came by an incident where some people had actually been taken by some bandits, and buses are having to travel as a group just to have some strength in numbers for some of these possible risks when traveling in Nigeria, and the fact that it's dangerous for foreigners. He's not the first person I've heard say this, but I haven't been to Nigeria before, and I don't know if some of these things are to the extent that they are being said by people like him, or they are rather exaggerating based on what they are dealing with on a personal basis, as he is dealing with in the case of his missing sister. So I wouldn't want to add and confirm what he's saying, but that is what he said. Now, this case has traveled to an extent where a friend of Mr. Amaechi, or an alleged friend of his, is also coming out to talk about the fact that Mr. Amaechi is a psycho. He sends him certain footages of what he does to some girls when he brings them to his house. And I was like, so why were you keeping all these videos when they're actually incriminating and you could have sent them to the police? But he goes on to explain that he didn't do that because he was afraid for his life. And I feel that he's a coward. Yeah, I feel he's a coward, because you don't do the right thing only when it's easy. You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Now, if you were silent about it and this is happening now, why are you talking now? Because Amaechi is still around, unless, of course, this friend of his has been able to confirm he has passed on. And maybe that's how come he's coming out now. But I don't agree with what he's saying in any way. I think that he should have come out a long time ago. So this is where the case is standing now. This is the updates on the case. And in wrapping up, I would advise, or even further ask, are there other victims? Are there other victims? Because if Amaechi is guilty of the things he's being suspected to have done in this case, then there's a higher possibility that Abigail Afibah Tandoh and Celine Ndudim might not be the first victims. There could be more. And personally, I suspect that there could be more, even if Amaechi isn't the culprit. Whoever the culprit is, there could be more victims, and it's likely there are more victims, just that they may be too shy or afraid to come out. Now, in wrapping up, I would advise our ladies, please, this is not a life to go into. I'm not saying that is what Abigail Afibah Tandoh and Celine Ndudim did. A lot of people are saying they were there for hookup. I'm still waiting for evidence that corroborates that fully, out of respect for them and their families. So I wouldn't toe that line yet. But then, all I'm saying is, young ladies, be careful out there when it comes to some of these rich guys who portray to be so nice, and it seems they are giving you your dreams and your world. Be very careful. Some of them may be wolf in sheep clothing. Some of them may be softening you up for rituals and organ harvesting. Because bear in mind, the remains that were found near the house of Amaechi didn't have a head. That is not organ harvesting. That is seeming more likely related to a money-making ritual. As to who that girl is, we are still waiting. But my advice to ladies out there is, please, you are very capable. Get your hands working. Get your minds working. Get entrepreneurial. Get industrial. Get productive. Earn your own money. When you are working hard and earning, you don't have time to be lured by some predators and end up in situations where you are likely to be used for organ harvesting and rituals, and even your dignity as a woman is taken away from you. I don't think all that is necessary. I don't think so. And it's not just to the women. There's also a crop of guys coming up thinking that they can take advantage of wealthy women, and they don't know that there are also some women out there who are very dangerous and in similar businesses or similar trade as is playing out or seeming to be playing out in this case. So let's all be careful. The organ harvesting and ritual issues are going on out there. Don't think that it can't happen to you. If you are reckless and greedy, by the time you realize that it can happen to you, it would already be happening to you, and it might be too late for anybody to swoop in and save you. It's very unfortunate, but I'm hoping that Abigail Afibah Tandoh and Celine Ndudim are still alive and maybe safe somewhere. Somebody was saying maybe they just faked their disappearance. At this point, I don't think anything is fake about this. I don't think that these ladies are hiding somewhere and pretending they've been kidnapped for whatever reason. I don't think that is a possibility. If that turns out to be the case, I'm going to be very disappointed in them, but I don't think that is the case. Not even the slightest possibility. I think these girls are in genuine danger and they need to be found as soon as possible. But I just hope and pray that they are alive. Very unfortunate. But if you are watching this video and you are aware of any updates or anything I didn't touch on, just go to the comment section and update me on it so I can also update my research and update the story. And also, let's commiserate with the family and loved ones of Abigail Afibah Tandoh and Celine Ndudim by going to the comment section and just type in justice for Abigail Afibah Tandoh and Celine Ndudim. You can make it a hashtag. Let's start a trend. Share this video with anybody you know, and if you know something, say something. If you are watching in Nigeria and you know something, say something. All right. And I would advise that we stay safe out there, we keep an eye out, and of course, I'll catch you on the next one.